Well, welcome back to another live Q&A on immigration in this fine year of 2021. I am Mark Holthe, Canadian immigration lawyer, ex-immigration officer, and former high school teacher, which has led me into my new, most enjoyable part of my practice, which is hosting these master classes that I do, including the one on the TR to PR pathways. At least that's what I'm calling those. The temporary resident to permanent resident pathways that affect all of you essential workers that are on the list, you international grads and you healthcare workers, as well as the French speakers as well. But I'm not so worried about them because they have until November the 5th to get things sorted out and get their applications submitted. For the rest of you, May 6th is going to come fast and furious. So I didn't have any music this morning because, well, apparently YouTube thought I didn't have the license to access it. And the last thing I want to do is play the music, have YouTube freeze this live video, because what I'm going to share with you guys today is super important. Okay, as the title suggests, and as you have seen repeatedly from me, the new temporary resident to permanent resident pathways for essential workers, international grads, that program, there is so many uncertainties about that, as you can tell from all of the webinars that have just happened and other things out there, people that are trying to guess and anticipate what this program is going to look like. Now, I have other meetings today with immigration, and I'm really, really grateful for the opportunity that I have to be the national chair of the Canadian Bar Association, because first it allows me to attend those meetings, get answers to questions that people are asking but can't get answers to. I have one with the other immigration representatives, the consultants, Acadie, which is the Quebec immigration lawyers, and us Canadian Bar Association lawyers, and maybe there'll be some more information there. First, that information gets shared to all of my fellow CBA members who I serve as the chair, and then it gets shared with all of you guys. But I am learning a few things here and there as we go. And what am I doing? Well, I have my TR to PR pathway course. There's no doubt about that. I have that available, and that is something that I would encourage every single one of you to subscribe to. Why? Because we have a private Facebook group where I really dive deep into the things that I know are going to be things you guys need to prepare and work towards. And so I'm going to shift my screen over here. In the description is the link right here, and I call it Canada's new TR to PR pathway course. And you can, and it's for international students. You guys know the caps: 40,000 for students, 20,000 for healthcare, 30 for essential, and you francophone candidates, my goodness, you guys hit the jackpot. I better get lined up here right on my screen. So all I have to do is click here, sign up for the course, and every night until this sucker goes live, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., I go live in the private Facebook group, answering questions, sharing the latest updates, everything. And right now, the course itself is over 30 lessons, 30 individual videos that I created, and they're constantly being updated. So go here, check out the video. What are you waiting for? And just click, yes, I want this. Or you can click sign up to the course now. There is plenty of time for this to benefit you. All right, now I want to show you something, and this is all about sharing, and this is what I want to share. There's been a lot of communication out there about what the portal looks like, where we're going to be registering. And there's been a lot of people who are claiming that it is this right here. And I'll be honest, if you type in PR application portal, IRCC, and then you go right here, many of you that are in Canada that are applying for the provincial nominee programs that used to be, well, paper-based, but now they're pushing them electronic. If you go in here and you click on this link right here, where it takes you here, many people felt that this is the one. And when you log in and you sign in, it has all the fixings that potentially could be, right? It has find out if you're eligible. And I talked with you guys about this in the video that I did a number of days back, where I revealed everything, where I shared you everything that I knew, literally everything. Well, this program right here, you can see find your eligibility, complete and upload your forms and documents, submit your application. It fits, right? You scroll down here, you click view my application or start a new one. And it has all the pieces of the categories. So you basically, if I go back here, and I'm showing you this for a reason, okay? I'm showing you this for a reason. So if I click on start a new application, then it asks you economic program and then the category under which you're applying. Well, look at all of these pilots and other programs, right? They are actually built in here, and it would be so easy for them to create one, TR to PR pathway, things like that. And then when you select it, then it will generate the actual program. And if I go back here, and I'm just going to take a few minutes to show you guys this. Okay, if you go back here, I go to view my application, and then I click on view. And believe me, I've been inside, outside of this, trying to see if this is where it is. And as you go through, there's an eligibility criteria. There's an application guide that we know is going to be a part of this program. There's a checklist. And understand, I just chose PNP as an example to see if this might be what they're going to do. Because you need to know, right? You need to know in order to be able to prepare to, well, basically for the program. Let me go down. I'll show you a little bit further. Application forms. See, there's the forms, and then you can upload them. In this one, we have IMM 008. It's a generic form that it's mandatory, but it's an online form that you have to complete. This one is a nightmare. It is awful. And then all the other ones, you pick from the drop-down menu what you think you need, okay? And then when it comes to the documents, they even have a nice naming convention. They have which photos, right? And understand this is all for PNP, but this seems to fit the bill. And as I went through it, I thought, okay, great. Here's a list of documents. I wonder if it's going to be like this. There's no reference letters because this is the PNP, but there will be reference letters. There will be proof of employment. There will be proof of residing in Canada. All of these things that are a part of the new TR to PR Pathways programs, they're going to have documents here. You click on the document, you choose what you want, and then you upload it. When you upload it, it appears here, right? It all fits. And then even the filing fees, right? So you click on the filing fee here. I'll open up a new link. This is what we know is going to happen. Okay, you're going to pay the fee online. You're going to go here. You're going to select which application type. I choose permanent residence. I go, are you paying a right of permanent residence fee for an application you've already submitted? No, I'm not. This is brand new. I see list of fees, and then I go on here and I look. I just about got tripped up by this one that says healthcare permanent residence pathway. Technically, that could be it. But as you can see here, there is nothing here about essential workers or anything like that, permit holder class, nothing here. And so I think this is the angel. I think this is the guardian angel myself. But anyways, so as you can see here, there's a lot of similarities, right? And then there's even the declaration, which maybe suggests you don't have to sign forms. And so I'm sharing all of this with you because I'm very transparent and I want you to understand what's going through my mind. Well, I can confirm unequivocally, without any reservation whatsoever, that portal, this one right here, is not it. I'm going to reiterate that. That is not the portal where you're going to be submitting your applications when May 6th comes. It's not. It will be something completely new, something unique, that at this stage, we don't know where it's going to be stored. We don't know where on the website. I have to presume that immigration is going to open a site, a page. Maybe we'll learn more in our Q&A session with IRCC and some of the other government departments, which is our monthly regular one. Maybe we'll learn more, possibly today. And when I learn that and I share it with all the members of the Canadian Bar Association, I will be in my group, the private TR to PR pathway course, sharing everything that I learn in there. But I'm not leaving you guys without direction. It's not just all about the people who join the course, but I can tell you they are getting a significant leg up on all of you because I have a very, very clear idea now what the forms will look like, the documents that will be required. And those of you who do a lot of immigration can kind of extrapolate yourself what you think is going to happen. In the course, I teach people probably to get more than they actually need to get. But there are some aspects of this that I do want to share in addition. So first off, okay, and we'll get to Q&As. This one's really devoted to TR, PR pathways, but I'm open to any questions about immigration generally. but hold off for a second because I want to teach you a few more things, okay? So one of the first things that you have to understand that R10, the completeness check, that is totally encompassing express entry, does not apply to the TR to PR pathway. It doesn't. What that means is you can submit an application and it's not just going to get returned if it's incomplete and then you get your money back. What's going to happen is they will process it. They have to process it through to conclusion. And if you're missing stuff, they will refuse and keep your money. So it is designed specifically to be under Section 25.2 public policy. And so you can submit your application and then they won't just refuse it up at the front end, but that's not necessarily a good thing. With express entry, if it got kicked back because it was incomplete, you knew right away. With this program, your application will go in, and every time you guys submit an application and you click the little green or red button on the page, the cap will drop one space. I'm going to plead with you guys now. There's a couple things. There's lots of misinformation out there. But the first you need to understand is if you do not have a valid language test at the time in which you submit your application, then your application will be refused. So there's no such thing as providing an old expired test that's over 2 years old, providing the date that you've booked your new language test, and then hoping you can perfect the application through a web form filing after you've submitted it. No, your application will be rejected if you do not meet the eligibility requirements when you submit it. So all of you who are scrambling and trying to figure out if there's a way to get your language test, I'll tell you, the only thing that you guys can hope for, if you don't already have one, is that somehow the system crashes. And that reminds me, okay, but somehow the system crashes and it's locked down and it's not up and running for a couple days and you buy yourself a little bit more time. You know, that's what some of you are probably going to be hoping for. But the reality is they are creating this program in a completely new, designed, separate portal, a separate process. Why? They're doing it because they know, just like you guys know, the GCMS system, the online filing right now is like a computer with a hard drive that has 98% capacity, probably 99 right now. And you know what it's like. You start to type something and then the computer freezes and crashes because there's insufficient space to actually take any more information in. I remember once my wife, she had tons of pictures on one of her iPhones. Oh my goodness, these iPhones, make sure you back things up. And she kept taking pictures and deleting some and her space was maximized. And it reached the stage where the phone just crashed. It wouldn't start. And of course, there has been nothing that we've been able to do to get the photos off of that iPhone. And it's because of Apple and the way they encrypted things. Well, when it comes to the GCMS system, there was no way they were going to be able to take in what you guys are going to throw at it. If there's 90,000 spots, how many people are going to be going in registering all at once? Crash? Oh yeah, it was happening. So they've been working frantically to create something new. And this whole system, which I talk about in detail in my course, we don't specifically know where it's going to show up. But there are certain aspects of the process flow that I teach in the course and that I've already shared with you a little bit here that are absolutely going to be a part of the process. And preparing now, getting things as ready as fast as you can right now is going to be what you need to do. Okay, so language test, you don't have it, no go. You won't qualify. Do you have 1,560 hours after at least 1 year of full-time paid work experience? If you don't have it, no go. You're not going to be able to submit until you've actually met those thresholds. Have you completed your educational credential? If you have not completed your credential, you're not going to qualify. So all of those components that are critical, essential eligibility components, you cannot submit an imperfect application and then perfect it later on. It's not going to happen. Your application will be refused. And I'm begging you, please do not listen to anyone who's telling you different because they are just simply wrong. So that is the difference, okay? So when you're going through this, immigration is, the interesting thing is they're super optimistic. They, like personally, I said, well, you're probably going to have 30% of the people who apply who don't qualify. And they said, no, we don't think that's going to be the case. because as we go through this process and people answer the wizard questions and you're choosing your stream, well, it's going to prompt you. Are you in Canada? If not, you are not eligible, right? Just like the wizards that you have, the Come to Canada tool. That's a good example of what you can likely expect. Those of you, I'm not sure if you guys even know about this. This is something I pushed a ton of times. Let's see. Let's go here. Come to Canada tool, IRCC. Let's see if this comes up. Okay, I'm going to share my screen with you again. So when you type in the Come to Canada tool, do you want to come to Canada as a skilled immigrant? This one right here is going to be very similar to what they do. Check your eligibility. Now, I don't know if it's going to be exactly like this, but it's going to be very similar. Choose where you're going to go. Of course, you're all moving to Alberta. That's a no-brainer, right? Choose the official languages, okay? Is CELPIP Ielts? And then this says, do you have results? And if I go here and I put my results are 2018, and then I go next, this form couldn't be submitted because there's errors. Oh, let's finish it off. Put February the 2nd, and then I click submit. Oh, what date did you take the test? It says 2018. Okay, see when I click this, it says the form can't be submitted. Your test results must be less than 2 years old when you apply. So just as a little snapshot, like that's kind of the thing that's going to walk people through. And so there's going to be barriers and blocks along the way. So unless you're eligible, you're not going to get through. Now, there is going to be a more softer aspect to the documents you upload. It's going to be more open. There's going to be more, like it's probably not going to ask for the specific details of your language test. You know, so I guess theoretically, if you just wanted to have the experience and be a terrible person, you could upload some fake letter and attest that it's true and then watch yourself get a 5-year bar for misrepresentation. You know, you could do that. I wouldn't recommend it. But that is something that you guys have to realize is that the program itself, unless you're eligible, you can't get through the process. Okay, let me cover a couple little high points, and then I'm going to open this baby up for questions. So let's see what else I can teach you. So we know about the proof of education. We don't know exactly what they will accept, but the policy directive specifically states that you need to provide proof that you have completed your credential. So maybe a letter will be sufficient if you don't yet have the transcript or the degree. But I'm not going to get into that because that's speculation and I'm not sure at this stage. Maybe they will release the guide in advance. But I'm getting the sneaking suspicion that they're not going to release much at all. That you're not going to find out the details, the full details, until it launches May 6th. Is it going to launch in the morning, in the afternoon, at 12:01 a.m.? I don't know. We've seen 10 o'clock as being a pretty popular time, or noon Eastern time. That's been pretty popular. We've seen how many times in our live Q&As right now where they've released the rounds of invitations. Speaking of the rounds of invitations, did we have a PNP yet today? Let's go take a look. This is real time. Let's go take a look. Round of invitations, ROI, EE, IRCC. That's enough. Pull it up. Let's see if we got anything new happening here. Any new releasing? Dun, 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 dun. April the 16th? Nope, nothing yet. So maybe it will come a little bit later. Refresh my page. Okay, we haven't had any new rounds right now, but we'll see what happens. If we hold back, if we look at what's happened in the past for those in Canada, we look back to the previous rounds, we'll see PNP and then followed by CEC. Now, last week, it happened on Friday, right? Which is, or I should say 2 weeks ago, it happened on Friday and they did a 6,000. You know, what are the scores going to be? Is it going to drop below 400? Well, we took a little bit of a dip here, right? With 5,000 on April the 1st, we went from 432 to 417 with a 6,000 draw. So lots of speculating there, lots of opportunities to look at everything. You know, some people just have a heyday going through this, trying to calculate and guess what express entry, what the future is going to hold. You know, if they do another 5,000, well, you guys can do the math. I bet it's going to be down in the low 400s, maybe. Yeah, maybe. Drop 10, maybe 407. Who knows? Who knows? So it could be. We don't know exactly when it's going to be launched. We just don't. At least the time, but we know it will be on May 6th. But personally, and you guys can just monitor what I'm telling you and see if it's worth trusting. There's lots of stuff out there. There's lots of people that are probably posting even in the comments now, Mark, what do you know? You don't know anything about this. And that's fine. That's fine. Think whatever you think, because at the end of the day, I may not know everything, but I know what to teach people so that they're in a position to file their own applications. Now, this is another important part that I want to explain to you guys. This process is rough and tumble. This process, like I explained in the live that I did last, I guess it was Wednesday, a week ago, like I explained, this is an individually driven process. They've really cut reps out. And this is something that I'm having a discussion with I'm going to bring up with the minister, his staff, when I have a meeting this afternoon with them and my fellow table officers who are awesome. Big shout out to Ravi Jain, Kyle Heineman, and Lisa Middlemiss. They're awesome. Great immigration lawyers. We're going to be meeting this afternoon to talk about some things. And that's first on the list, is the way representatives are basically being cut out. And if that's the case, and why am I saying that? Well, you have to use your own email address to register for your account, and everything flows through you. And when the actual filing takes place, it will say that, are you attesting that everything is true, complete, and correct? Your representative can't click that button for you. And when it comes to uploading the documents and everything, I'm almost positive that when you log in, that it's going to say, do not share your password and your login information with anyone. And that puts a lot of representatives in a difficult spot. So please, please understand the rules of engagement here. And I'll do a video in more detail. I'm going to probably release it either this afternoon or a little bit later. I got a busy day ahead of me. But you have to understand the pros and cons of using a representative versus going your own. If you choose to hire an immigration lawyer to help you, I can promise you that when it comes from understanding the process, you can rely and you can count on that immigration lawyer to help you. But here's the caveat. You must make sure with them and confirm with them that they are the ones that are taking care of your application, and that you are number one on the list, and that you're not 5, 6, 7 down, or that your application is not being parceled out to someone else that is not an immigration lawyer to assist you, because you want the person that actually knows what is going on, who can adapt and change, because we are not going to get a lot of information about what this program looks like. I would not be surprised if we know very little about it, except just some basic high-level stuff until May 6th when it's launched. And if you have someone who does not have a long background of experience working with immigration that can adjust and adapt depending upon what they see and move quickly, you're going to be at a significant disadvantage. So if you are right now setting up legal service agreements or retainers or whatever with representatives, ask the questions. How many people are you? How many people have hired you to file their applications? What number in the queue am I? And if you are not number one, then understand you are going to be at a disadvantage. How do they choose who's more important? Whoever books whoever books the engagement first. The reason I created the course, and I will tell this over and over again, is because my 17 years of practice and my years as a high school teacher, I pour this into the course and I teach you and educate you to give you the tools so that you can be adaptive on the very day that it comes. Now, we know the forms. If you have half a clue as a representative, you will know the forms that they're going to be asking you to complete. If you can read the regulations, you can figure it out. You are going to understand basically what they're looking for in terms of documentation, because you're going to have to prove what the eligibility is. But in the course, I have tutorials, checklists, I have sample documents, I have tons of resources. And those who are in the course right now, feel free to tell people. In the course, I give all of these tools and resources to actually help the people that are in there prepare better than they probably need to be in order to meet the eligibility requirements. And once again, everything in that course is shared in that private Facebook group, all those tools, resources, and every night, 2 hours with me. 2 hours every evening, not Saturday, Sunday, because I do need somewhat of a life. But that's what's in there. And those of you out there who say, oh, Mark, you don't know anything. Well, good luck to you guys. And those that are in the group, Just share. And so, so that's what I wanted to address on the representative front. A couple other items as I go down the list here that I want to address. The next thing is these companies that have these automated rapid filing systems. This program, and I have had enough discussions with immigration to this point to understand that this new portal is going to be very dynamic. There's going to be backwards and forward movement. You're going to have to fill something out, then go backwards, fill something else out. And when it comes robo dialing to click in and get access, personally, I think everybody that wants to connect and get access is going to get access. So that's not going to be an issue. But the issue is going to be if you're trying to use something to upload your documents faster, understand that there's so many places that that's going to fall off the rails. And I also know that immigration is looking for ways to block those kinds of things. Now, an individual that's using something personally, that's fine. But big, massive groups, they're going to identify things and they're going to go boom. So they're putting in place things to make it very difficult for people to get a competitive advantage in this process because they've paid more or done something else. So please do not trust any of those organizations that are peddling this belief that somehow you're going to be better off by paying them $2,000 or $3,000 to autofile. That's garbage. Like if they have 1,000 people and they're peddling that you're going to get in guaranteed, like it's just stupid. Don't trust them. You are far better off is what I'm saying. Unless you know your representative is number one, you're number one on their list and they're working directly with you and they're using a screen share where you're building it out together. Well, the reality is if you're using a representative and they haven't already started to tell you guys the things that I'm telling you right now, get rid of that relationship. Do not. If they're saying, well, wait and see on May 6th what it looks like, don't. It's too late. You need to be preparing now. And everyone in my group, I can tell you that they are preparing right now, collecting all the documents they need so that there will be very, very few surprises. Will there be surprises? Heck yeah. The guide hasn't been released. The checklist hasn't been released. But the reality is I'm giving them the tools to prepare all of the core things that they need so that if there is little nuances that are different, it's not going to affect them. They're going to be able to adapt. Multiple contingencies. I'm teaching them that. So that if this doesn't work, then use this. So that's what we're doing in the group. And it's awesome because everybody's like a family. And there are some phenomenal people. I've got immigration consultants in there. I have some lawyers. I have tons of individual applicants. I don't care. We're all working together as a team. When we hear of something, we post it. There's a language test here. Hey, everybody, I just booked. Then everybody piles in and that link is posted in the group and they hear about it and they go book the test. This is what I'm learning. You know, things about how do you prove whether or not you're residing in Canada? Well, there's some good tips and suggestions that we learned from other immigration programs. Well, I'm just starting a poll today on what do you think would be good or what are some examples of how you can prove you reside in Canada, right? And I've got my own suggestions that have been developed over the course of Express Entry because that's really the source of another location where we're learning about things that we need to do to prove if, say, a sibling resides in Canada. There's a little tip. So that's the nature of the group. It's dynamic. We share, we post during the day. When I have something that comes up, I go live instantly and I share exactly what I need. And one interesting aspect, I am seriously contemplating doing a live stream. I have one client. Guess how many I've taken? One, you guys. One person, myself personally, to walk through. And one of the things I'm going to talk to them about is if they're willing to allow me to do a full live of what I'm doing right on the spot in the group. I'm still toying with that, but anything I can do to share what I'm learning with people. Okay. So a real time, like that would be crazy. It's definitely not going to be posted anywhere else, but in the group. Okay. Couple other nuggets that I want to share with you guys. Another big question that's come up is all about how to extend. And you guys have heard repeatedly IRCC say, there will be no bridging open work permit with this program. There won't be one. No. So what do? You can see within the policy, the public policy announcement, that they contemplate that you need to be in valid status or have the ability to, restore. So what does that mean? If you're working, your post-grad work permit expires, well, you fall out of status, you're not done. You have the ability to restore status to a visitor. So that would be the step, right? That would be the next step. Well, I can tell you that when you think about it, they've created this public policy to help people get to the end. They're highly motivated to process these to meet the quota for this year. They're not looking for ways to exclude people. They're not. If you don't meet the eligibility requirements, you're done. Absolutely. They can't ignore it. But when it comes to you being in status and working through and having work permits that are expiring just because of the nature of the way it is, when if you would have gone through express entry, you could have used the bridging open work permit. What does that tell you? Like, I'm not making any announcements here. I'm not. When I know 100%, well, maybe I kind of know. But I'm not in a position to make any announcements or anything. That's just, I can't guarantee anything until we see it, right? But does it not make sense that they're going to have some kind of a work permit to allow? Doesn't it make sense? Makes sense to me. Why in the world would they allow people to file an application and then lose out at the end, right? To lose status. It just doesn't make sense. So of course they're going to do something. Of course they are. Watch. Maybe you'll hear from it right here first. But you can take it, as far as I'm concerned, you can take a big breath in. And I want to show you once again over here, if I shift over, got some notes there I'm working off of. If you have any questions specifically about what you're doing, you can book a consult. Come to my site, click on the link. I have myself, I have other lawyers. All you need to do is go right here, and I have opened up a ton of slots. So if you go to Mark Holthe here, and then you look at the dates, today is full, yes. Tomorrow, I've got a ton of spots. My goodness, do I have that many open? That is crazy. I guess I have no life. Okay, we just opened up pretty much every spot on my whole calendar to meet with people if they need help. So understand, those resources are there to help you guys as well. Okay, back to my list. So bridging work permit, no, there's not going to be a bridging open work permit. Will there be something like it? I can't tell you for sure. I can't fully tell you if there's going to be something. Watch for it. Okay. Other questions. What constitutes being employed? All I can tell you right now is if you want to know what constitutes being employed, look at express entry and follow the path that's there. Follow the instructions. If you go overboard collecting documentation that you would maybe use for, say, proving the 1 year of work experience, that will work. If you're just recently hired, we cover that in the course. Okay, medicals and PCCs, no, they won't be required up front. I think that's been abundantly clear in the information that has been shared to this point. Will they be required later? Well, maybe. There's been some helpful webinars out there, or maybe not so helpful webinars, that have suggested that maybe you don't need to have them up front, but they're going to make decisions with people who have previously obtained a medical as to whether or not to waive it. And that is true. Good for you guys. Excellent intel. But the reality is they're not going to be required up front. But if you've never had a medical, do you think you're just going to have a permanent residence approved without having done one? If your police certificates are all 3 years old because you've been living in Canada the whole time, well, it's possible that those 3-year-old police certificates may still be valid if you obtained them after you left that country. They don't expire. Canada doesn't require them, but if you have gone back, or your police certificate that you previously obtained was issued while you were still in that country, then you're going to need to get new ones. And if you're not planning to go back, what's stopping you from start the process right now to get them? They're not going to expire. Okay, anything else? I guess the last thing is just digital photos. And because I'm trying to think of all the things, you guys, that could potentially require some third party, someone else that you can't control, that you start thinking about that now. In the course, I've got my kind of top things to do right now. But obviously with photos, express entry is pretty lax, right? And really that's the only real program that we have to compare this to. But if you go into that PR application portal, you can see that there are some suggestions on what photos should look like. And never have I said you should take a photo from a photo studio. And remember, it can be London Drugs or Walmart or whoever does them. So, but the photo, there's a suggestion or a hint that you may need front and back, and that you may need the stamp with the date that the photo was taken and the address of the photographer. They can also handwrite it on there if they want. and then scan and upload both sides. There's a suggestion with your name and date of birth on the back of one of the photos. So there's a possibility that that could be. So what do I advise people? Yep, you guessed it. I advise them to go overboard. Maybe you need to. All right, so anyone who's saying that Mark doesn't share anything and he just hoards it for his group and hoards the information that he knows is on drugs, because I'm truly, truly out here to share every single thing that I can, when I find out about it. Now, the details and how to, no, I'm not going to share that at all. The people who have registered for this course would be extremely upset if I just went and shared everything that they paid their hard-earned money to join and be a part of and just shared it with the world. And so I am not going to do that. Updates, I've already shared all of this with people in the group. They always, always have a leg up and so much more because I dive in and explain. I have tutorials on the forms, how to fill them out. I have detailed document instructions on how to complete them in a way that will encompass anything that immigration is looking for. And if your information is complete, it will get refused. It's as simple as that. So go here. There is plenty of time. It's so funny. People are still doing webinars to tell you what the program's about. I killed myself over the weekend. I hardly did not sleep at all to generate like 30 plus individual videos to give you the tools. Remember, I am a high school teacher. Mark Holthley, Canadian immigration lawyer, ex-immigration officer, and former high school teacher. I pour it all in and have created this nice, easy to follow lesson plan that goes through all the videos, goes through all the documents. You know what? Okay, I'll give you a sneak peek. And people who are saying, Mark, can you just answer our questions? Well, I'm sorry, you're just going to have to wait, pal, because this is one thing that I believe in. When you go to the course, when you go to the site here, what's going to happen? I'll just back up here so I can see. Click that, and I'll go here. When you go and you're logging in after you've subscribed to the course, I'm going to go right here to my library. You can see exactly what it looks like. I've done a ton of these. Guys, I've had so much experience doing courses like this. That's how come I can flip it around, because I've done it so many times for Express Entry. Join the private Facebook group. This is it. Start the course, new updates. When there's a new update, I click on this and I post it. So everybody in the group gets an update the moment it happens. Live calls will happen for 2 weeks. I'll probably go all the way to Friday. So what is that? May the 7th, and do debriefing. And if I need to go longer, well, we'll see what happens. But I've got 4 modules here. In these modules, I have individual lessons that I've created. Learning about TR pathways, top things to do first, IRCC technical briefing presentation notes. Why am I sharing those? Because I've already shared them with all of the lawyers and they've already shared them with everyone else, and they're pretty much a matter of public record. All the consultants have them now. At least I sure hope CAPEX shared them with everyone. Same as Acadie. Okay, now I went over the weekend and actually created how to register for through the PR portal. Well, I learned that that wasn't it. So I spent a lot of time preparing in advance how to register, how the portal may work was this lesson, and how to determine your eligibility. That one, at least I didn't have to change. As soon as I know more about this, then I will recreate these. But I gave people every ounce of information that I knew the moment I knew it. And I created a video on how to do it. But these ones are the bomb. Completing the IRCC forms, there is an individual video for every form on how to complete it. There is also mastering your documents. And this section I absolutely love. All of the documents that I think could potentially be in the course, or I should say in the application, I've created a separate one, including new ones, fee payment tutorial, proof of residing in Canada. And so with all of this being said, yes, I do charge for this. I charge $347 US for you to prepare, take the class from Professor Mark, to be educated, to know everything that I know about permanent residence, generally speaking, so that you, when May 6th comes, so that I've given you the test. I want to share something with you guys that is absolutely hilarious. I'm not sure if I can find the exact one, but here's some of the comments that have just come in the course so far. So here's one. Let me if I can share this one. So So Barbara says, Mark, thanks a lot for putting your time on this, for answering our questions. This is very special and helpful. Okay, that's great. Here's another one. This one says, today's session alone is worth the registration fees. Thanks a lot for all your hard work, Mark. This new program is a blessing for all essential workers and international students during the pandemic. And if you guys are watching this, just let me know. You can see Alex says, hey, Mark, happy to join for the first ever live session. Yes, Asterix. It was great to have you. Today's session alone is worth the registration fees. Oh, we've got a double whammy there. Next, Billy says, hi, Mark, this course is worth more than we paid. I'm going to get to the one that's my favorite. This person's blessed to be a part of it. That's awesome. Let's see what else we have here. I started watching the course today now in Module 3. Was amazed at the way you designed it, although thought it will almost be impossible for me to fill these forms until I started with your course and these live discussions. Thanks, Mark. I just copied these from the live feed yesterday. I love this one. Mihail says, Mark, God bless you for what you're doing for us. You know what? I'm a faithful person, and that means more than you guys could know. Oh, we got that one too. I'm trying to find the one that I'm looking for here. Been waiting for your live the whole day. Thank you so much for everything you do. Where is it? Oh, here we go. Okay. Jay's, it was the last one. Jay says, it feels like attending supplementary lectures back in school for the finals. And you know what? I've done it. That's how I've structured it. The things that you need to know most to ace the exam when you do it. All right. I'm done talking. I've spent a lot of time sharing information, and you're basically up to speed aside from exactly what to do. So to access that, you need to get over here and just go. There's room, there is space for people. I'm actually quite surprised. There's so many people. I think there's just so much distrust out there that people just don't understand, what's actually in here and how it can help you. If you go to the Canadian Immigration Institute or just click on the link below, see courses. Like, we've created all of this literally over the weekend. Igor is a rock star. Get the course now, and when you're here, all you have to do on the new TR to PR pathway, sign up to the course. Once you're in, then it will automatically give you a link to the Facebook group to get in there right now. And the Facebook group is awesome. I'm showing you guys all of the stuff here, which is, I guess, well, that's what I'm doing. Why? Because I believe this can truly help you. Am I going to get paid for you guys joining? Yeah. And Igor just sent me a message. He said one more. Someone else just subscribed. This is my own personal Facebook going crazy here. But here's the group. It is, and here's the best part about this is that everybody that joins and subscribes, there's my live. Okay. You post comments, you post questions, people jump in, people answer. I've got rock stars in there. Like I said, there's immigration consultants that have subscribed that are equally sharing, equally giving. You know, people that when they learn of something, they share it, and the questions are posted. See, anything that's related to what's going on, people go in and they help one another. Last night, my online feed didn't work. It broke because Facebook sucks. And so I did it on my phone, and 244 comments. We went through questions asked. And like, take for example here, Deval asked this question. It's, what do I do with this? How do I do my photo? And so everybody, look at what they're posting. They're helping each other. You know, I obviously got in on the action as well, and got in there and answered questions for them as well right here. And that's what I do. And the moment something new comes up, and that's, I curate this, I moderate it. This was my first live, which was awesome. It was a great one too. 246 comments, just like this. And so you can see going in here, and I love this. Mark, someone's asking questions, record of employment checklist. And someone says, where's that? Where did you find it? And then other people see the lesson on this. So there you go, guys. You decide what you want to do. I'm just putting it out there, and you guys can choose. Those of you who say, oh, Mark, you don't know anything. How can you know what the program's like? I am the national chair of the Canadian Bar Association. It does give me opportunities to attend the technical briefings and the meetings with the immigration department head who actually runs the programs. In that position, I share it. My loyalty first is to the other members of the Canadian Bar Association. And then second, it's to my own clients. And when I share that information with the other lawyers, I turn immediately to share it to my clients. Then after my clients, then it goes into the group, the paid group, and then it goes to the rest of you. So figure out where you want to be in that order of priority. All right, let's keep going through here. Okay, Shaw, you bet I brought some good news, my friend. Okay. Okay, Jason's asking right here. I don't have an answer to this one, Jason. He says, my question is if the documents we submitted for the postgrad will suffice for this program. Do you know what? I'll be honest with you, Jason. If IRCC is accepting those for the issuance of your postgrad work permit, what do you think they're going to do for PR? Huh? What do you think? And I'll leave it at that. Medicals, shared that already. Morning to you, Taryn. French speakers, Levi, I'm not worrying about you guys at all right now. Not at all. There are no caps. There's no hurry for you. You French speakers, I encourage you to go through the French program, because if you submit through the regular streams, if you choose them, they're going to pull you into the French anyways. But trust me, I will have a course specifically geared towards all the French speakers in those programs. But understand, I'll probably have multiple. But right now, I'm not concerned about you guys at all, because you have until November the 5th to get your application submitted. And for everybody else, these caps are insane. That'd be nice, Fabio, but they have a limited number of spots. Jiju, hello, good to see you. Thisera, hello, a previous subscriber to the Express Entry course. Good to see you, my friend. Thanks for watching in. Shine. Okay, Hirat says, what if I can't work? No work, no go. If you're on any kind of a leave or you're laid off at the time in which the applications are being filed, won't work. Okay, lots of people are asking about school credentials. Hello, Shoab. Good to see you again. Another current subscriber. Niraj, good to see you. Deval, next CEC draw? I don't know. Maybe Thursday, maybe Friday, if it holds true. Okay, and if anyone is asking questions, I'm going to ring this right there. If you ask any questions about you personally, am I eligible? Can I qualify? Then every single time I'll ring the bell and then I'll push you guys over here. Okay, so general questions, we can totally answer them. But when it comes to am I eligible, or does my documents work, or my specific circumstances, that I'll bypass through, because that's legal advice and not something that I can answer in this particular course. And I don't know if maybe I have, let's see here. I haven't posted this for a while. I've got all of these funky overlays that I've pulled up in past courses. And I'm just looking to see if I have one. I always tell you guys that this is legal advice, but here we go. I'll put it here. Okay, I'll let that run a little bit. It just confirms that this is not legal advice. Okay, let's zip through here. Yeah, that's a good question, Mohammed. I'll pull you guys up a little bit here. What's the future of FSW by the end of this year? Good question. Until the borders open, until the travel restrictions are lifted, it just isn't going to happen. Okay. All right. As a third-year university student, should I be wary? I'm not sure, Ramez, what you'd be wary of. Not quite sure. Okay, so we talked about that one, Sherry. Nope, not up front. Let's see here. Okay, Mady says, I just wanted to know, what if a person's PNP application is in progress? Can she still apply under this policy? Absolutely, Mady. Yep, 100% you can. If you're outside of Canada, Akash, he says, if work deputation for a Toronto-based employer, can I apply for a TRPR? No, you have to be physically present in Canada. You have to be present at the time in which your application is submitted and when it is finalized. Okay, Color for Canada says, I would be applying under the international grad category. I don't have WES yet, and it is impossible to get it before. Will they ask it in the future if it is not a requirement currently? I can't see why they would want an ECA for foreign education. All they care about is your education in Canada. I guess it's possible they might want you to... No, I can't think of any reason. In the personal history section of Schedule A, absolutely, they will want to know everything you've done in the last 10 years. And you need to include that. But providing supporting documents, it's only to meet the eligibility. Okay, George is back in the house. Okay, the manager who signed the letter of employment had a name and email change after EAPR is filed. What should be sent as a web form to RCC or none? Phone number is still the same though. Just inform them. Is there a business card? Do you have some other, anything else that shows it? That's what I would do, George. Juju says, hey, Mark, do you provide templates of reference letters, gift deeds if we took your 347 course? And how about your videos in your course? Can we get lifetime access or just for a short period? I'm going to do that. That there is a freaking awesome question. You guys have access to this for life. The lives with me eventually will come to an end because if I keep doing them, I'll be dead. After a full day working with people, and then from 5 to 6, I do my express entry live, and then 7 to 9, I do the TR to PR pathway lives. If I continue past May 7th, I'm going to die. Either that, well, I'll either die because of a lack of sleep and my body will just crash, or my wife will kill me because I've been spending so much time away from the family. But this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. And understand, you guys, it really is a once in a lifetime opportunity. And if you don't believe that, well, ask the people who are still waiting for the CRS scores to go down to what 176 was. You have to strike while the opportunity's here. Do I provide templates of reference letters? Oh my goodness, Juju. I provide more than templates of reference letters. You know what? All right. I'm going to flip over here and I'm going to show you. In the course material, once again, I'm going to go back and I'm going to register in. Make sure I can find it here. I'm going to register up, pull up my library here, and I'm going to show you what's in here. Because you just don't believe it. Like, people don't understand what's actually in here. So I'll go to mastering the documents. I will go to the section that I have on proof of employment and work history, and I click on it, and you will see here I have an international grad checklist. I have an essential worker hours of work tool. I have what I call the CEC hours of work tool, but really it's the same as the essential worker, but I just pulled it over from the other course. I have a record of employment checklist. I have what if I can't get a reference letter? I have sample reference letter for records of employment, but I specifically advise people not to use this one just exactly as it is, but instead use it as an example. The last thing in the world that I want is for immigration to see 1,000 people that have reference letters from different employers that all look identical. Like, can you imagine? They'd be thinking, what the heck is going on? Like, is there something fraudulent about this? So basically, that's why I encourage them not to. And then the piece de resistance, my favorite of all, is the Knox selection tool, which helps you to literally spoon feed the officer that you meet one of the programs or you meet one of the categories, the duties for the essential occupations that are on the list. And then I've got an example of how I did the Knox selection tool. And then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 20, 30. I have 30 different sample reference letters. Okay. So that's what's in the course. So once again, is it worth the 347? Well, I guess, those who take it, I guess you can listen to them. I've already showed you what they'd said. All right. Okay. Yes. And I know you've said, yep. Levi, Francophone is good. Everything that you can see or hear me talk about for the purposes of the other programs applies to the Francophone program, generally speaking. So Levy, if you join, and those of you who are French speakers who join this program right now as a French speaker and take the courses for essential workers and international grads, you will get free access to the French one when I open it up. So Levy, if you want to join the one right now, then once I convert it and add in for Francophones and build that program out, because remember, there's not a rush, my friend. The key is that you're employed, that you're working. Yes, if your post-grad work permit is expiring or something, that's something to take into consideration. But we've already talked about an alternative potentially. Well, not potentially. I can't see any world where they don't have an alternative for the bridging open work permit. But Levi, that is something that you can bank on. And thank you, Keith. That is exactly how I make my money. Thank you for pointing that out. That is exactly how I make my money, is by people subscribing to the course. Yeah, Alexa, yes, my absolute pleasure. Okay, now, guys, what I'm going to do here, like the vast majority of what I shared right now was all about, and yeah, since I've had 2 other people that have subscribed. If I go in here, I just have to take a quick peek and see. Okay, I've got a little bit more time. I had to see when, and it looks like it's at 11:30 to 12:30. Okay, good. I've got a few more minutes to go here because I have my meeting with the immigration practitioners with IRCC, where this is the one that I was telling you about, where I get a little bit more intel. And understand, you guys, I don't have some slick marketing budget. I've worked my butt off together with Igor, my right arm man, over this last 6 months or so. We've learned some things. We've spent long evenings. We've worked through the weekend to learn how to generate and produce courses, how to, the software that's out there that helps us to kind of do it ourselves. And so we have created all of this from scratch. We've sunk so much into the ability to now generate these courses. And this is only the beginning. It is only the beginning. We're going to create this for every single type of immigration application out there. But that is absolutely how we generate money. It's how we generate goodwill for our law firm so that people book consults. It's how we get our name out in a virtual world where I live in Lethbridge, Alberta, Canada. I don't live in a major center. This has been the way that I've been able to interact with the world and be relevant. So I didn't have to give up my immigration practice, so that I could literally practice outside of the major centers and help people all across the world. So do I want you to join the course and subscribe? Yes. Do I want to earn money from it? Absolutely, I do. Do I want you to succeed? Absolutely. All right, let's cruise down and answer some more questions. Okay, Hardy says, regarding your course, I'm working to get the minimum 1 year of experience. Should I register in your course now or wait until I'm done with the work year? Things are volatile and updates could happen. Hardy, if you're not eligible right now and you're not going to be eligible by May the 6th, then don't subscribe to the course yet. Okay, don't. The reality is, if you're close, like if it's the 7th or 8th, well, we don't know how fast the cap's going to fill. But if you are not, and you know you're not going to be eligible, then don't subscribe. Don't spend that money. Only spend if you know you're eligible. And I've gone through, and you can watch those videos, right, you guys? You can watch those videos that I did in the past. I have a ton right here on the YouTube channel, and you can just go back and you can watch them. I have a couple that are very, very specific to the actual eligibility requirements. I'm just going to pull it up so I can show you which ones so that you know where to go. Okay, let me flip the screen around. Okay, so in here you will see that there is specific ones that relate. So everything you must know about the program, that's this one right here. And I dive in deep into the specifics of it. So each of the actual specific programs I dive in. So watch this one. It's got about 11,000 views right now. And if you scroll down, how the process will work, I've got that one. And then, yeah, some other higher level ones right here. This is probably another one that's really good for you. Are you eligible? Oh my goodness, it's got 27,000 views now. This one is a good one. So check these out. Those will give you extra help and assistance. And you can see, I don't care. Like, people can be haters. They can say whatever they want. The reality is, you cannot fault what I'm doing. You can't. And those of you haters, and sometimes I'm really critical. This is another thing I want to point out. Sometimes I'm really, really critical of immigration consultants. And there's a reason for it. Okay? There are so many that never take the time to actually learn. They just wing it and learn off the backs of their clients. And then when they destroy people's lives, the regulator right now has no teeth. They do virtually nothing to actually, unless it's criminal behavior, if they just do a bad job for you, you have no recourse, no way to get your money back unless you sue them. But even then, showing negligence. But with that being said, I do not hate consultants. There are wonderful consultants that are in my group right now. And I call them wonderful because they care enough to actually learn. They care enough to put the time in to really be knowledgeable as they can be. It's the ones that just land in Canada as a permanent resident, can't get a job, and then decide they're going to become an immigration consultant because they did their own permanent resident application. And then they just start peddling how they know how to do it because they did it themselves. Those are the ones that I have serious issues with because they have very little understanding of the broad strokes. Anyways, I'll leave it at that. We'll see what the Queen's program does. We'll see. Okay, let's zip through here. Good question, Shine. I don't know. As far as them opening the borders, I think for sure that's going to be a factor. Okay, and those, if I've already answered your question already, I'm going to skip past it. Okay, Schwab says, okay, question. I like that. Thank you for putting the Q in there. I don't want to claim points for my work, for my foreign work. Do I still have to include that employment in the 10 years personal history, selecting no one past 10 years, foreign in NOC 0AB? You are always going to put into your forms the full details. You're going to answer all of it fully and completely. 10 years, you're going to list it all. Okay, it's different than express entry. It's going to be different. It doesn't say work history, and if you're eligible, we'll determine if you qualify with just this work history section. No, check out Schedule A, background declaration. That's the place. Okay. Jesse says July 13th will be 1 year on the job as an insurance advisor. Do you think I have a chance to apply? Really tough, my friend. Jesse, unless you speak French, it's going to be really tough. Okay, Harsh says, hey, Mark, your course is super helpful. Best investment compared to hiring a representative. I'm going to qualify that, Harsh. I'm going to qualify it again because I know out there are so many amazing immigration lawyers that if you hire them and you pay the $3,000, the $4,000, the $5,000, whatever you pay, that you are literally going to be better off than working through it on your own, even with my course. But if you are number 2 on that list, then please beware. It is physically impossible for 2 applications to be submitted at the same time. And know who's submitting yours. If they say, oh, we've got lots of staff, everybody has someone dedicated to them, ask who it is. Know who it is. Because there's a big difference between the immigration lawyer and the clerk that they just hired, 15 days ago to submit your application. In those circumstances, you are absolutely better off with the course, being educated, taught, and filing it on your own. Do I guarantee someone will be approved? Do I guarantee that their application will be approved if they use my course? No, absolutely I do not. I could never guarantee. In fact, even if you hired me, I would never guarantee that the application will be approved. What I offer in my course is a chance for you to get a leg up, to understand exactly what you need to do, especially those of you who've never filed a permanent resident application, which is most of you, right? You may have learned a lot from Express Entry, but this is a different beast. There's lots of the things that are in Express Entry that translate across, but this is different. Forms are different. They contain a lot of the similar information, same information, but the forms are different. That's why I have those tutorials. The documents are similar, but there's some that are different. And so that's what it's all in. So Harsh, thank you for the vote of confidence. I appreciate that. Okay, let's see what else we've got here. They will keep your money. Anna says it had you rolling. That's hilarious. Okay, academic Ielts, Pratik, as of today, no. They have not said anything about a willingness to accept academic Ielts. So the answer right now is no. Okay, we've got a few more minutes here as I zip through some more questions. And the reality is I did a lot of teaching. So a lot of the questions that you guys are going to have were already encompassed in what I taught. Okay, Randy says, do we have to have full-time job for international grad stream for candidate? No, you don't. You just have to be employed. It doesn't have to be full-time. Okay, let's see what Igor's telling me here. He says, oh, very important PNP draw. Okay, looks like this is why I love Igor. He's so awesome. Igor is so awesome. All right, let's see what Igor's talking about. Let's shift over here. Let's go to let's see if we can find it here. Is it here? No, that was that. Express entry. Okay, here we go. Let's refresh the page. Let's see what we got. See? Live breaking right here in our course. So they just did, as of April the 28th, hot off the press, they just did only 381 people. That's the nature of PNP. Lowest score, 717. And so you can see, so we've had it here. So tomorrow, maybe tomorrow, maybe they do another CEC draw of 5,000. But that's cool. Thank you, Igor, for letting us know. And thank you for letting me know. You also said some other stuff. Let's see what you said in here. Igor's always got really good stuff that he's sharing. And I'm sharing my whole screen. Oh, yes, I can mention in the live. That's what he was saying. Yes. All right. Okay. What is my goal, you guys? What is my goal with all of this? My goal since the beginning was to get 400 subscribers. If I can have the ability to influence in a positive way 400 people, my goodness, what an amazing, amazing experience that would be. And that's why I do this, to amplify what I'm doing, to be able to help as many people as possible. And as I was talking about in my group last night, the private group, I'm going to have this Canadian Immigration Institute alumni reunion. That's what I'm going to do. When everybody comes through, everybody gets PR, this stupid pandemic comes to an end, I'm going to host an alumni event of the Canadian Immigration Institute. That's all of this. And I'm going to host it here in Lethbridge. It's going to be the biggest party in the world. It is going to be so amazing. That's what I'm going to do. All right, let's keep zipping through here. Jithan, I'll tell you that yes, I think it's, if you follow that pattern and you make your reference letter just like that, you're going to be in pretty good shape. Do we know for sure? No. Okay, Miramar says it sucks that you need to finish 2 8-month courses to qualify for the new grad pathway. All right, well, understand, Miramar, it can be 1 2-year program as well. It could be, if you graduated with the degree, it could be a master's degree that's only 8 months. So there are other permutations there. And I know, Anmol, this is an issue. I know you guys, and the education agents that are telling you to go study in Quebec, please don't do it. Don't. The pathways for non-Francophone, non-French speakers going to Quebec are virtually zero. I've got so many people, I shouldn't say that, but they're so limited. Whatever you do, if you're listening, you're outside of Canada, don't listen to education agents that are trying to get you to study in Quebec. Not if you don't speak French. Amir, I'm not sure if I can filter so that my posts show on the top. I'll have to check that out. Nope, margin up front. They're not required up front. Got another 4 minutes here. Let's see. Ben, thanks, Ben. I was giving Ben trouble yesterday. Love for you to join, my friend. Absolutely. Alexa, I will absolutely do a daily cap. I will absolutely do that. Yep. We will, I may even have an open feed where I'm talking about the numbers going up and just jumping in periodically. It will be really, really fun. Great question, Martian. If someone has CEC application approved, can they apply for this too? I'm assuming maybe you got an invitation to apply. Is that what you mean? Because if you got your CEC application approved, there's no need to apply. You're a permanent resident. Okay, let's try to find some more here. Okay, Bavish says, what documents are required to prove employment? Will reference letter and pay stubs work? Great start. That's a great start. Let's see. How do you prove the 1,560 hours? Yep, previous reference letters will do it. Yep, Yusuf, you can apply for the international grad, even if you have a part-time job, as long as you're employed. You can even still be on your study permit if you made those requirements while you were studying. Okay, Kathy says 1-year diploma at Centennial College working. It needs to be at least 2 unless that was a degree. Is it a good idea, Cynthia, to have the medicals and police certificates? I'll be honest, like the rate that they're going, how fast they're going to be focusing on this to try to approve it before the end of the year. If you're in early, there's no harm in getting a medical and police certificate now. We don't know entirely if, how the whole upfront thing will work, but you already have your UCI. You're already connected into the system. When you get your medicals done and you include it with your application, you could even preempt it if you wanted to. There will be open spots to put in other documents. Okay, so the photo specs, I talked about that already today. Okay, let's see what else we have here. Paid vacation, can I apply under recent grad stream? Kaushal, you have to be very, very careful. How long is this paid vacation? Because I think what you're saying may be possibly. Well, those who are paid, that vacation should come to an end and make sure that you are actually working. But a vacation is technically okay if you've been continuously working. But if you say I'm on a paid vacation and I've been paid for 2 months, well, understand that that's going to be closer to a layoff. And for all intents and purposes, if you really want to know, Kaushal, ring the bell, flip my screen over, and click on here and tell you to book a consult. All right. 2 more questions here. Here's one that's probably a good way to finish. What do you think? How much time it will take? Weeks to fill the 40,000 market cap for international grad? That's going to be tough. I personally think that, that there's a very good chance that it will be within a week. I think so. But if they do not open things up, which I'm almost positive that they're not going to do, Chris, the very moment, he says, will the course be updated once the government posts new information? It'll be updated in real time. The moment I learn, I've literally blocked my schedule off when things get announced to make sure that I share information. So yes, that's the beauty of the program. It is dynamic. It is constantly growing and changing. I'm constantly going in, producing new videos, updating, providing comments, answering questions in the group, and 7 to 9 p.m. in the evenings, doing a live Q&A where the latest updates are shared in that evening. Most people are at work anyways, right? And why did I do it 7 p.m. Mountain Time? Is because 6 p.m. in Pacific, 9 in Eastern Time, and then it's 10 in the Atlantic provinces, so that I can capture as many people as possible. All right, let's see here. Yes, I can, Hardy. In fact, I will invite an immigration lawyer to talk about it. In fact, she's coming up. It's my good friend Lisa Middlemiss. I'm really excited to have her join me. Okay, all right. I didn't get through nearly as many questions, but one last pitch, guys. Go over here, go to the site. You can see this is the course. It is full of everything that you could want to help you prepare. Literally, these 4 modules with all of the other things associated with it. Well, you decide. You decide. But all I can tell you is that this actual program, this is a creature of public policy. It is a one-time deal because of the pandemic, because of the high levels plans, and I do not see it coming back again. In fact, IRCC has emphasized over and over that this is a temporary resident to permanent resident pathways program. All right, click on the subscription, click the bell or whatever you do to get notified when I go live, and then you'll be notified. Subscribe, share this with everybody you know. Wow, I sound like some kind of YouTuber. It's kind of funny. Share it. I'm sharing information freely with you guys. You guys share it with everybody else and spread the noise, spread the love. All right, Mark Holthe, Canadian immigration lawyer, ex-immigration officer, and no music today. Signing off, wishing you guys all the best. See you next week, or probably earlier.